now call Alex Rowley.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I raise the issue of councils and social landlords not actually allocating houses? I contacted the head of housing in Fife recently, and he wrote back to me saying, you know, the advice from the government is that people should not be moving house at this time. That's why the council has suspended normal housing allocations. We're making efforts to allocate property to homeless households, but this is at a much reduced rate than normal. When are we going to start to see the government working with local authorities start allocating houses? Because that's crucial. And, you know, I remind the Minister, we were in a housing crisis before COVID came along. So, you know, we need to get housing moving again. Is he working with councils to get that to happen?
Kevin Stewart.
Presiding Officer, I am working very closely with local authorities and housing associations in order that we get all of this absolutely right. And Mr Rowley mentioned the head of housing in Fife, John Mills, who is also the lead in Allocations at this moment in time. And John is very much involved in a resilience group which is led by the SFHA around about how we move forward on this front. Mr Rowley is right to point out that at this moment what we have is a situation where there are allocations being made to homeless folks, and I am very keen to ensure that we can move folks who have been in unsuitable accommodation or in some cases even on the street into housing. We have also put in place with the local authorities and housing associations allocation plans for those women in particular who have faced domestic abuse in order to get that absolutely right. Mr Rowley is a knowledgeable man and is aware that in some regards there are sometimes difficulties in allocations without having the right repairs, and that has caused some grief as well. And we are working our way through that in order to get that right. As the First Minister laid out today, we will have a phased approach in terms of that return. The allocation of housing is something that we are very aware of, and we will continue to look to see when the right time is for a full return to allocations as was.
Alex Rowley.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't believe that's good enough. We have to start to get the housing moving. The crisis that's in housing, so there are people who have been told that they've been given their tenancy. There are people who are massively overcrowded. There's people who are in unsuitable housing. We have to get this moving. Otherwise, all you're doing is stoking up the housing crisis even more. So I would ask the Minister, the First Minister today said that house sales, etc., will come in phase 2. I don't believe we can wait to phase 2 to start seeing councils allocating houses again. So will he give this priority and start to see how we can move this fairly quickly?
Kevin Stewart.
I understand Mr Rowley's frustration in all of this, but I think he will understand that in all of this we're dictated to by the virus. If I could maybe add to what I've said previously around about getting this right. There have been discussions, for example, around about how viewings can take place without you know, the normal circumstance of someone going in with the keys and showing folk around the house. And I know that the sector as a whole are looking at alternatives to the ways of working that we had previously. But we have to ensure that we get all of this absolutely right. And that is why I am sweared to give Mr Rowley a timescale at this moment. I recognise the difficulties that are out there. Like everyone else in the chamber, I have got constituents who want to make a move. But we have to do this at the right time, and you know, we will continue to keep the chamber up to date around about how we can move forward in that front and the work that we're doing with partners in order to get that right.